In the music mecca that is Nashville, a young couple that seemed to have their whole life ahead of them died in a sudden, brutal attack. The circumstances of their deaths, coupled with the secret life of one of the victims, led authorities through a winding journey to uncover the truth. This is the story of William Lanway and Holly Williams, and the millionaire that orchestrated their demise with the help of former military personnel. Why did this millionaire want them dead? And how did he get former Marines to do the deed? Bill Lanway and Holly Williams were 36 and 33 years old respectively at the time of their deaths. At first glance, you'd think that Williams was the more well-adjusted of the two. She grew up in a happy home in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, with her family describing her as a sweet, trusting person who only wanted to help others. The fact that Williams had Kardashian-level good looks certainly worked in her favor as well. The combination of inner and outer beauty made her seem destined for greatness, and when she decided to pursue a career as a medical esthetician, it was only a matter of time before she'd make it big. Lanway, on the other hand, had a much more troubled upbringing than his partner. He was ravaged by trauma that was etched deep into his psyche by the man that should have acted as his role model, his father. When he was just a child, Lanway's father aimed a gun at his head and threatened to pull the trigger. This alone would have been enough to require a lifetime of therapy, but things would only get worse from there. A week after this incident, Lanway's father brutally stabbed his mother to death. He then went to prison, effectively turning Lanway into an orphan. Despite all of this, Lanway appeared to move past his inner wound. He got married and had a daughter that became the light of his life, but even this happiness wouldn't last for long. Lanway ended up losing his daughter to brain cancer when she was just 5 years old. This event seemed to sap the life right out of him. Lanway only showed signs of joy when he was out drinking with his friends. He was in this terrible mental health spiral during his early 30s when he met Holly Williams, and the two immediately hit it off. However, Williams had taken a dark path in life. Though she earned decent money as an esthetician, she supplemented this income by working as an escort under the pseudonym Layla Love. This secret life would become the catalyst for the couple's demise. The two troubled lovers had a chaotic relationship, to say the least. Friends and acquaintances say that they often fought, only to make up and get back together again as if nothing had happened. During their on and off relationship, Lanway showed signs that he'd inherited his father's stormy temper. According to police reports, Williams had called 911 on her boyfriend at least 3 times in the year before the incident. Lanway's abusive behavior was so bad that it led to Williams installing security cameras around the premises. Despite this, the pair seemed to be on the same page about one thing: earning money. There's a chance that Lanway knew his girlfriend moonlighted as a sex worker, or perhaps he found out later and wanted to take the chance to cash in. Regardless, on February 3, 2020, Williams received a text from someone that would completely change the course of her life. At this point, it's important to introduce an individual that's central to the entire dark saga: Austin-based millionaire Eric Mond. Mond came from money, with his grandfather Charles starting the wildly successful Mond Automobile Group in 1957. Mond took over the family business when he came of age, taking it to even greater heights. His flourishing business allowed him to buy a lavish 10-bedroom mansion worth $5 million, with the Austin Country Club golf course quite literally serving as his backyard. However, it appears that Mond had an insatiable sexual appetite that his wife simply couldn't satisfy. In early 2020, Mond headed over to Nashville to visit his son at college. It was here that he came across an ad for one Layla Love. Smitten by her supermodel good looks, Mond couldn't resist sending her a text on February 3rd. They quickly agreed to meet at a hotel, with Mond going by the alias Eric Moore to cover up his tracks. Neither of them realized that they'd set a sequence of events into motion that would have catastrophic results. On March 1, 2020, Mond received a chilling message from an unknown number. The sender apparently knew that the millionaire had hooked up with Williams and threatened to expose the affair to his wife. Mond still only knew his escort by the name Layla Love, and he had no idea who the texts might be coming from. All he knew was that the sender wanted $25,000. Otherwise, he'd bring his life crashing down. As it turns out, the sender was none other than William Lanway, who'd found Mond's number while he was going through his girlfriend's phone. Police haven't clarified whether Williams was in on the plot, so there's a chance that Lanway was doing this without her knowledge. Either way, Lanway was never going to get the money. For someone like Mond, giving in to blackmail just isn't on the cards. The millionaire must have thought that sending the money would only expose him to further extortion down the line, so he decided to take matters into his own hands in the darkest way possible. As the owner of a successful auto dealership, Mond was familiar with several private security personnel in the Austin area, including an Israeli national by the name of Gilad Peled. A former member of the Israeli Defense Force, Peled was well known for providing security to high-level celebrities, including Charlie Sheen. His company, Speartip Security Group, also provided security to luxury jewelry dealers and other high-end stores in the area. Peled had often worked for Mond in the past, usually helping the auto dealership owner clear homeless people out of his lot. But this time around, the millionaire had a very different request for the security firm owner. He wanted Peled to look into the threatening text and find out who it was from. And on March 5th, he paid him $15,000 to get the investigation going. With this retainer fee, Peled enlisted the services of Brian Brockway and Adam Carey, two former Marines. After a career in special ops, they'd transitioned into a career in private security after returning to civilian life. Brockway asked his brother Chad, who owned a security firm of his own, to help draft an intelligence report. This situation report, or SITREP for short, became the basis of what was to come. The former Marines created a pinger account to securely exchange messages and began spying on their victims. In the meantime, Lanway and Williams had no idea that these highly trained and deadly individuals had started hunting them down. On March 10th, Williams's outdoor security cameras captured a heavily muscled man with a long beard knocking on her door. Internal cameras recorded Williams pacing anxiously while the man was outside. He asked her to open the door, and fearing for her life, Williams tried barricading the door with a rod-like object. Outside, the unknown individual told Williams that he just wanted to ask her a couple of questions. Terrified by the man's presence, Williams continued to pace in silence. One has to wonder what might have happened if Williams had opened the door that day. Would the events of the next 2 days have played out differently? We'll never know. With that said, it's possible that Lanway found out about the surprise visit, because he tried to take the fight to Mond the very next day. On March 11th, Lanway took things up a notch by calling Mond at his home. His goal was to scare the millionaire into paying up, but the fear he instilled had an unintended reaction. When the call came through, Mond was outright terrified. He couldn't stop thinking about what could have happened if his wife had picked up the phone. Would Lanway have revealed everything to her, or would he have threatened her in some way? His mind started spiraling. If Lanway knew his home phone number, did he also know his address? This meant that he might decide to pay Mond a visit, something that could only lead to a disastrous outcome. Mond knew that he had to act. Simply knowing who his blackmailer was wouldn't cut it. He needed to take Lanway out of the picture, and Williams too while he was at it. It seemed like the only way to tie up all the loose ends, but there was no chance that he'd pull the trigger himself. Luckily for him, and unluckily for the doomed couple, Brockway offered to do the unthinkable, take both their lives for $60,000 each. Mond heard the offer and accepted, and the plan was set into motion. At about 11:40 p.m. on March 12th, Williams and Lanway were recorded exiting their home. This was the last time either of them was seen alive. Moments later, the security footage captured Williams screaming off camera. Her blood-curdling shrieks indicated that she was being viciously attacked, and sure enough, photo evidence revealed by the police showed that she had several bruises from the assault. The assailants, who were later revealed to be Carey, Brockway, and a third unknown gunman, didn't waste any time ending Lanway's life, though. While they beat Williams up, they riddled Lanway's body with bullets, and he died on the spot. Williams watched as her boyfriend was brutally slain, helpless in the face of 3 large men that she had no chance of overpowering. Her screams continued, turning into spine-tingling shrieks as she lay on the ground. Shortly after, one of the assailants repositioned the security camera, pointing it towards the ground. No one knows exactly what happened over the next hour and a half. All we can say for certain is that Williams was stuffed into the trunk of a white Honda Acura with her boyfriend's lifeless body, after which the assailants drove to a nearby construction site. While there, they finished the job by shooting Williams to death. The empty construction site likely rang out with her screams, but no one was nearby to hear it. Based on the security footage from outside her home, Williams seemed to be begging the assailants to stop. It's possible that she continued to plead until the very end, but her attackers showed no mercy. Once the deed was done, all that was left was to dispose of the bodies, but the assailants didn't really have a plan for that. They could have dumped the bodies anywhere, but instead they placed them in the car and sent it speeding into a tree. The hurtling Acura was spotted by a construction worker who happened to be nearby. When he approached the car and saw the bullet-riddled bodies inside, he immediately called 911. By this point, the assailants were nowhere to be found. Police arrived on the scene, cordoned it off, and began investigating the deadly crime. It would take them over a year to find any leads, during which time Mond would face a few unforeseen setbacks of his own. Not long after the shooting, the assailants deleted the Pinger account and started covering up their tracks. Grateful for the successful execution, Mond would eventually transfer hundreds of thousands of dollars to Peled's company account. He assumed that life would go back to normal. He was wrong. Brockway had hired the 3rd gunman to help carry out the hit, which turned out to be a huge mistake. The details are murky, but this unnamed gunman somehow found out that Eric Mond was their client. This individual was desperate enough for money that he helped end 2 lives, so he was going to take any opportunity to cash in. Once he learned about Mond, he decided to extort his former client for even more money. This led to a phone call between Pellet and Mond that would prove crucial in bringing them down.
Oh, what are you up to?
Yep, what's up?
Man, we have a problem.
You there?
Yeah, are you by yourself? Eric,
What's that?
are you by yourself? Hello?
Now,
Can you hear me?
hold on. I can't, hold on. Yeah, hold on just a second. Give me a minute. I'm driving down 35. So hold on. I'm going to pull off and get out. What's wrong? Nothing. I just got to talk privately. You there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
What's up? Yeah,
I can't hear you with all the cars.
I'm here.
Can you? Okay.
You ready? I'm here.
Yeah. Are you by yourself?
What's up? Yeah.
Okay. We have a problem. With one
What's
of I'm on signal, so we got to talk because I got to take care of this. We got a problem with one of the shooters in Nashville.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how, but he found out that that's the other guy. That's not Brian, so he never knew of you. But he found out that you were the client that paid for this, for the job.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess he's hurting for money, and now he wants to get paid. So, I mean, he wants like $25,000. These are professional guys. I don't know how this thing is coming back. Usually, those guys don't do stuff like that. They have a code of honor. When they get a job, they get a job, I guess. But
Yeah, but if I give 25, when's it going to stop?
I know. But I mean, what do you want to do?
I'll pay the guy $25,000, but I think it needs to go away after that.
So we need to take care of him?
Well, I mean, don't you think he's not going to stop?
I don't know. It's not like that guy that extort you initially. That was a criminal.
Yeah.
And this guy is he's not threatening your family. I know you wanted to get this thing taken care of initially because he was threatening your family. This guy is just a soldier that I guess needs money. I don't think he's going to come back.
Look, if you tell me he's not going to come back, I'll get the money put together. I don't care about that. He did a solid for me, and I appreciate him for that. But I just want to make sure it's, in 6 months down the road, he's not going to pop back up.
Okay. Let me talk to him. I'll try to prevent that. Hopefully, I'll talk to Brian. Maybe he can talk to him and get this gone completely, where you don't have to pay the 25. But worst case scenario, if
like I said, the 25 is not a big deal.
Right.
I don't care about that. I don't give a shit about that.
Right.
But I just don't want, in 3 or 4 months to get the same call again.
I understand. I didn't.
Because at that point, we got to take care of something that, and like you said, he's,
Okay.
at that point, that could backfire and then completely blow back on us.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me text Brian. Eric.
Yep.
So Brian will try to take care of this. But if this thing turning into a problem, do you want him to take care of this? Like what?
Give me a number.
100?
Yeah. Honestly, I think I'd rather take care of it permanently than do the 25.
Got it. Okay. Well, I'll have Brian try to reason with him. I mean, my stand on these things. I don't want to get involved with this stuff, but.
And then I'll just run 150 through Spear Tip, like we did last time. Because it would take a long time for me to put up 100 grand cash. I can get it probably, but it just might take me a little bit of time.
Okay.
Without, you know what I'm saying?
Got it. All right, let me talk to Brian, see what we can do.
All right, I'm traveling back from South Texas, so if you got to call me, I'll have to pull over, which is what I just did. That's why you heard all those cars.
Got it. All right, I'll check it. So what? You're heading back home?
Yeah.
Got it. All right.
Back in Austin in a couple hours.
Got it. Okay, thanks.
All right.
Once again, Mond could have paid a smaller amount of money to end things right then, but chose instead to pay extra to have the matter resolved permanently. Brockway was never able to take out this third gunman because the authorities had already started closing in. Since this case involved suspects from multiple states, the FBI got involved in June of 2020. They didn't have any leads regarding the men in the security footage, so they started sifting through the victims' phone records instead. Eventually, they found that both victims had received a call from a voice-over IP number. Though the VoIP hid the caller's identity, it also created a computer code trail for authorities to follow. This ultimately led to them identifying Adam Carey as the caller, and when they compared the picture on his driver's license to the security footage, they quickly realized that he was one of the three men. Another major break in the case came in early 2021, when investigators managed to recover the Tennessee sitrep that contained all the details regarding the plot. While authorities haven't mentioned how they got their hands on this document, it proved extremely useful piecing the conspiracy together. They learned about the homicide-for-hire plot, the surveillance, and the use of a security company to conduct the hit. Over the next few months, investigators began building a case. They uncovered transactions amounting to $750,000 sent from Mond to Peled's company account. An investigation into Mond's phone history showed that he'd texted Williams on February 5th, asking her to come meet him at a bar. And then came the clincher. Authorities managed to obtain the phone call between Peled and Mond, where the millionaire auto dealer essentially tells his hired hand to either pay off the gunman or take him out. This was the final nail in Mond and his associates' coffin. In December of 2021, all 4 participants in the double homicide were arrested. Carey was located in his North Carolina home, Brockway in San Diego, California, and Peled was apprehended right before he boarded a flight at Austin Airport. As for Mond, the mastermind behind the plot, he was arrested during a routine traffic stop, and the authorities immediately brought him in for questioning. In the footage of the interrogation, Mond appears completely unbothered by the fact that he's in handcuffs before federal agents.
With the FBI, obviously, here's Brett. we don't like interviewing people with handcuffs on. Are you good with us taking it off?
Yes.
Okay, you're not
Trust
going to
me.
be a problem or anything?
No, I promise I don't.
Heard you were you out hunting or something? Or?
Yes, sir. Perfect.
Did you get any?
Yes, sir. We got some quail and pheasant and chukar.
I hear the hunting's pretty good in Texas.
It is.
Just even up from around Texas, but it seems like a great state.
Yep.
Any advice or rights?
I got it. Brett Shields
Eric Blunt.
with the FBI.
Actually, you know,
Said, I'll show you the same. Eric, before we start, especially, oh, I do got a pen. I'm going to read you your rights, just something we always do, and the whole purpose, one, we're going to read you your rights, okay? Then we're going to play you some stuff, talk to you about stuff that we already know. So listen to us. You might learn a lot more from us before we even get into asking you questions, okay? You understand? So let me start off. I'm going to give you the pen. The way I do this, I read you each line. I ask you to go ahead and initial beside each line as we go down, and it just says that you understand it, and we go from there, okay? Before we ask you your questions, you must understand your rights. You have the right to remain silent. If you understand that, go ahead and initial there. Anything you say can be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask you any questions. You have the right to have a lawyer with you during questioning. If you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed before any question if you wish. And most importantly, if you decide to answer questions now without a lawyer present, you can stop answering at any time. So like I'm saying, this is to your benefit. We're gonna play you some different things. We're gonna tell you some of the facts that we already know about this case, okay? And then we're gonna ask you questions. Anytime you can stop it, okay? Right there. And just sign right there, acknowledge. Appreciate it. Now Dave is our case agent, so he knows the most about this case, so he's going to present you with some of the facts that we do know. First of all, do you have any suspicion or any
Well, no, I have
you
no
think?
clue.
Pardon?
I have no clue.
Okay.
All right, let me,
Well, would it help you if we told you that we were from Nashville, Tennessee?
My son goes to school there.
Okay.
all right, so,
I've been there, yes.
yeah, so again, we'll, why don't you take this time and learn from us what we have? And then we can start talking, okay? If that's what you want. Okay, because I think you have a story to tell. And I think it's a complicated one. I don't think, I personally see things in shades of gray, not black and white, you know? I'm not the kind of guy who's like, hey, anybody who's, shoots someone and kills them is evil or anything like that. I know that things go on in your life that aren't ideal, and then sometimes you're scrambling hard to figure out how to deal with it, and then things turn out even worse, and then they turn out worse, and then next thing you know, you're backed into a corner and nothing you can do. So, having said that, this is why we're here, obviously. And I don't want you to talk because honestly, I want to give you the benefit of the doubt. This is the way things work. For you to be helpful to us and also to help yourself out, the more truthful you can be, the better. And this is the reason why. Because as you're being truthful to us, it tells us that A, you're sorry for your actions. B, you have more credibility. So the more you lie to us, A, that's a federal violation, lying to a federal issue. So boom, on top of all these other charges, you got that. But secondly, the more you lie to us, the more your credibility goes down, and then you can't help yourself out. You can't, because right now, the only way you can help yourself out is to increase your credibility and be like, yes, I did it, but I really realized it was a mistake. I would never do it again, and I completely, this is obviously an investigation that you're aware of. It happened in Nashville, okay? I'm not going to be able to really explain what happened other than I'm going to play you some audio. Because you understand, like, when the murder happened, Holly had...
I don't even think, we haven't even explained that part to him. That this is a homicide investigation.
Oh, he knows. He knows. No, don't worry about that. So, I'm gonna play this audio. Okay. I want you to understand what we're talking about here. And what you're gonna hear is this is outside Holly's apartment. Okay. This is how it went down. Those are all the time she's getting shot and he's getting shot. This is someone I think you cared about. I know you cared about her because, you tried to do the right thing at first, right, with Langley. And it got out of control. With Langley. Langley's the guy.
Oh.
You tried to do the right thing, and I think it kind of got out of control. So what I'm talking about, this is a picture, and I'm not going to get into all the graphic stuff too much, although that's what a homicide sounds like, and this is what a homicide looks like. And this is what ended their misery, okay? But if you see and hear what happened, she suffered for a long time before this happened, okay? You see all the bruising and such around her face? She had a long day. I mean, that was the longest hour and a half of her life, literally. So this is MNPD, Metro Nashville started investigating this case. And then we stepped in because, they were having trouble figuring out who the people were. We were able to figure out who all of them were. And I don't even know if you want to hear all the evidence, but
Let's kind of cut to the chase with this.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm sorry. Do you tell me you know who this girl is?
I met her at a bar in Nashville
Okay. And how long was your relationship with her?
that night, and then another night I came back to Nashville.
So you were using her services as a prostitute, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And now this guy right here, Langley, right?
Never met him.
Never met him, but he found out that you screwed his girl without a condom, and he
No, I
started.
never have.
Well, that's what he believed. Just again, listen.
Okay.
Okay.
Hold on, I believe you though. Go ahead.
Okay. Either way, he starts trying to extort you, correct?
He sent me some text messages, but he never demanded any money.
Yes, he did. So let's not start.
I don't remember him demanding.
He might have thought that he could talk his way out of the situation, but the authorities already had a rock-solid case against him. Between the phone calls, text messages, and wire transactions between Mond and Peled, they knew that they could put each conspirator behind bars. Even so, they tried giving Mond a chance. It's a testament to his arrogance that he refused to take it. All 4 culprits were charged with conspiracy to commit kidnapping, kidnapping resulting in death, and carrying, brandishing, and discharging a firearm during and in relation to a crime of violence. Realizing how bad the situation was, Peled immediately flipped on his comrades, agreeing to testify against them in court. But in the end, his involvement in the homicides was undeniable. As the court case began, 16 jurors assembled to hear arguments from both sides in a trial that lasted over 2 weeks. Court proceedings began on November 3, 2023, and unsurprisingly, all of the conspirators turned on each other. Mond's lawyer claimed that his client was a victim in all of this, and that Peled was the brains behind the plot. Their story was that Peled wanted to milk Mond for all he was worth, and that Mond had no idea that Williams would be kidnapped and executed. Brockway's attorney used his time to cast doubts on Peled to undermine his testimony, and that Carey was the one who suggested that they take Williams and Lanway's lives. However, the jury wasn't swayed by their conflicting stories. After arguments concluded on November 17th, they spent 7 hours deliberating over the evidence and ultimately declared all defendants guilty in the homicide for hire plot. The case will finally conclude in December of 2024, when each culprit will receive their sentence. The recommended penalty for homicide for hire is life behind bars, and given the mountain of evidence, it's likely that each convicted felon will be punished to the fullest extent of the law. But then again, Mond is a man with immense wealth and connections. Will this allow him to curry favor with the judge and possibly get a lighter sentence? We'll just have to wait and see, but his refusal to cooperate and his not guilty plea will certainly work against him. What do you think of this case? Do you think the 4 culprits will get the maximum sentence? Or will Mond's wealth and connections help him negotiate a better deal? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you want more videos like this, please be sure to like the video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on more true crime videos. See you in the next one.